Hi, everybody. This is Exandra the Medium. Welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to do a topic about Ascension and the awakening, and just discuss my personal awakening and then mass awakening that's happening right now from the perspective of my channel. I channeled this information this morning, and it's for a book that I am writing. And but right now I just wanted to kind of do a short video and just share some of this information with people so that they could get some understanding of what's happening right now. Okay, so the first thing that I got was that right now we have a lot of people who have been through maybe a small awakening to spirituality and to the understanding of love and light and living with synchronicity and going with the flow, and they know the secret and they know some things about themselves that they didn't once know. But I'm going to explain my awakening first, and then I'll go into what's been going on in the world and how I see it different. And the first thing is my major awakening came when my daughter was hit by a car and died. And the whole scenario surrounding that and everything that I went through. When you lose a part of yourself, there is you face your own death in a way because a part of you has died. And so what happened to me, it's the crumbling of everything I believed to be true of my life. It felt like I was in a million pieces. I crumbled so badly, and I thought, if I don't heal myself, I'm not going to make it through this. And so I began my spiritual journey. And at that time, I worked on myself a lot. I had to heal so many past things, everything that in my life I had chose to just stuff, even though maybe I was hurt and angry, and really I cut myself off from that, and it didn't hurt. It didn't matter. Those people didn't matter, or whatever the situation was. And so doing that for all of my life until my daughter died when I was 37, which is like 22, going on 23 years ago. So at that time, I began doing my healing and going back and just going through everything because I had to in order to heal this trauma. Because after so many traumas that have been stuffed throughout our lives, if we haven't really been into the healing work and facing, all this hidden pain, once you have a trauma like a death, and such a death of a child, it is so overwhelming that it it's just like stacks it on top of each other, all of your traumas, and they crumble. And without healing them, you could maybe have a nervous breakdown, or I don't know what the results. Some people go through a lot. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol through this loss of a child. But at that time, I started doing my healing work and started, going and back and looking at those things and feeling my pain and letting it go and doing forgiveness and forgiveness for many people and events throughout my life. But the really most important one was the forgiveness of myself. For, sometimes we have to really learn how to love ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for those times where we blame ourselves and we become less of, and we believe less in ourselves at that time. And so you really are going through this process of what some would call burning from the fire within, because you're going within and burning away through healing, love, forgiveness, and you really awaken to that true love that we all have access to when we get rid of the trauma and the pain. And so that's when I really started having my awakening, and everything that was superficial belief systems, or, the way I looked at the material world, all of that at the same time crumbled. And of course, I had later awakenings that were smaller, but they all stack upon this too. You get more and more awake throughout your life. But in doing this, I could expand and find that love that was in my heart. So the depth of your pain is also can be the depth of your love. And I wrote about this in my first book, Angel in Disguise. It was about my daughter. But now we're coming into this mass awakening where many people have experienced the trauma of what's going on in the world today. And through all of these traumatic events, people are starting to awaken themselves. They're being pushed to the brink, So they're getting to that place where they want to awaken and heal themselves. And some people, it's going to take more than others, depending on where they are in their healing journey. But you get to love more through letting go and healing of the past, so you make space for that love. And a lot of people have been pushed to that limit in the last few years from what's gone on in the world. But, I particularly say in our country, I know that the conspiracy theories and these things that are going on have really started causing a lot of anger and a lot of attacks and a lot of things that really appear unhealthy. But in my channel today, it was, we've all been perpetrators. We've all been the victims in this life and in other lives. So everybody's playing their part in the awakening at this time. Some are bringing some of the more toxic stuff to the table, and some are, retaliating in their anger, and it's back and forth. And there's a lot of separation and pain. But we are separating at this point with our level of consciousness and where we are. But the thing that I channeled this morning was that, we need to process that pain when it's coming up. When it's triggering us, we need to go deeper and look at our own shadow that brings out whatever was left. And I feel that this is true for me, is wherever there was anger and pain left, when I was seeing things that were horrible going on, children in cages and just horrific events that were against humanity, I became angry. And, I maybe would say things, in defense of it. And I think we all do that out of love and concern for those things. But at the same time, we are putting out harsh energy. We're also bringing more of that separation. But at the same time, just as some of the perpetrators of these horrible events, such as this insurrection, and where people were fearful for their lives, and the trauma came up for these people, and they've been triggered. They're deeply traumatized from this. It pushes them to go further into their awakening, and those who are perpetrating the crimes, if you will, upon others, we have to hold them responsible in this sense. They need to understand their shadow and what they have done to harm humanity and other people. This isn't a time to say, oh, unify. No, we don't heal and move on without going into the pain and recognizing our part and looking at our shadows. And, a lot of people want to just move on, but they don't want to heal it. They want to stay in it. And so what's really important right now is that these people, wake up, and they need to wake up because they are forced to look at themselves, and many of them need to go to jail, and they need to be punished for their behaviors. That's really part of the waking up for them. Nobody looks within unless they're traumatized. To them, without having some event that can crumble you within to a real awakening, you can do the healing work that is required to ascend consciousness, which is what we're trying to do right now, is we're trying to ascend, but ascend consciousness to a consciousness that is more of love and compassion rather than separation and me against you and the fittest wins and the greed and the power and the slaves, basically. We're trying to ascend it. So we are higher vibrational beings that are love and compassion for all of humanity. And so the people that are doing either the perpetrator or the victim right now is part of the process of awakening to do the healing that is required for us to raise that consciousness. And this is just really something to think about as far as our personal journey. And we can't become love if we have all of this stuffed hate and anger and pain inside of us. How do we raise that vibration? We cannot do it until we heal it. And this is what, you know, and it's going to take, in the channel message I received this morning, it could take several years as we're going through the process of people waking up gradually from their own pain and traumas. Okay. Uh, but I also was channeled the message because the conspiracy theories have really thrown me. Just because it's like once you have truly awakened, it isn't, oh, I go down a rabbit trail and now I got this information. That isn't awakened. Awakened is to when you truly are love and you truly are compassionate for all humanity and that you don't want to hurt others. You have no desire to hurt others. And what's happened with these conspiracy theories, and I know it is bringing the dark into the light, but we have to examine that further in the sense that the person, the dark is perpetuating these lies. And this Q conspiracy theorist is just amazing to me that anyone would follow this. But if you're not awake completely, you see this and you're into the secrets and you think this is awakening, you will follow that rabbit hole. Now, what they told me this morning is how much more dark could someone be? They're hiding in the dark. No one knows who this person is. They don't know because this person doesn't want to have to back up what they have to say, have their character examined. I mean, they've just come up with these ideas and boy, we're following it. They're secretly in the government. We'll never show our face, but we got all this awareness, awareness of things they have no proof for, such as all these people who are involved, who are Democrats, are Satan worshiping pedophiles. And which is absolutely ridiculous. You are told by these leaders and these cult members who tell them not to watch any news. Don't believe what you see in front of your eyes. Only believe this that I'm telling you. We're going to, Donald Trump is going to save all these kids from these sex rings and Satan worshiping. And that's interesting when and you're following this guy's telling you what Donald Trump's character is, when Donald Trump himself has been known to, or accused, I should say, of raping and assaulting 28 women, who has had beauty pageants where he talked about, and this is all proof stuff, he talked about going in on the teenage girls when they were dressing and nude. He talked about dating his own daughter. He has done many, he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, a known pedophile. But that's all overlooked and made excuses for. And he even said himself he can grab women by the what if he wants because he's famous. But we make excuses for that. And why they make excuses, but instead believe this, he's saving the world. Don't listen to facts. Don't see any proof. of anything but attack people for something so evil. And you're going to follow this man out of the darkness, cloaked in darkness, this secret man who's telling you what to think. And you found, all the truth of awakening. No, you haven't. You have been fooled. You have allowed yourself to follow a dark theory conspiracy theorist that is trying to cause destruction, murder, evil upon other people. I mean, their conspiracy theories are beyond belief, obviously, and yet you're believing them with no proof. When you can see proof on the other side, something inside of you thinks that is awakening, when that is far from awakening. Love and compassion come when you look within. They don't come on the outside from somebody you have no clue who this person is telling you what awakening is and what awareness is. It comes from within. All healing comes from within. And when you do the work within, you can see truth. You can see authenticity. I could see clearly from the very beginning. I've seen this shift growing and growing with people who have no character, who have no love and compassion, creating lies to control the masses, to create evil and darkness. Okay. And yes, they are the perpetrators. And if you're following Q Conspiracy and you're acting out on any of these violent acts and any of these sick belief systems, you're the perpetrator. You're not the awakened. And if you're telling everybody they have no clue and you've got all the answers, where did you get those answers? Did you get them outside of yourself? Did you get them from inside yourself? These are questions you ask yourself if you're truly awakened. If you've truly burned from the fire within, you begin to recognize truth. And these are some important things that, I'm going to start doing these videos on a regular basis with more information. And today it was more on this conspiracy theory that is out there. There was one last point about that too. The interesting thing about this conspiracy theory is, look over here. These are the real people that are doing it. Now I have no proof. And anything like that, you don't have a clue who this is telling you this information, but believe me, I got the answers. Well, it's turned your head away from some serious problems. It's turned the attention away from the sexual abuse that happens every day in our society, in our churches. We've had this problem, and we are not looking anymore at the churches where this has been for thousands of years. Sexual abuses happen in religions, in families, and mostly sexual abuse happens by someone you know. And so this, a little noise here, sorry, I'm gonna have to shut this door a little better. So really, I want you to think about that. What are you looking at? If you're looking to be awakened, you got to go deep and you got to go within, because awakening doesn't happen outside of this on the internet following conspiracy theorists. That isn't where awakening happens. It happens within. And some of the tools of awakening happen when you're doing the healing and through meditation, through breath work. There's so many avenues to do this, but it's not following a loophole, these loops that are being created for you to follow that instead of look over here. That is an awakening. And we don't ascend to a higher consciousness until we do this, till we heal our traumas and we raise our vibrations to love. And it happens one soul at a time doing its work. It doesn't happen doing no work and on the internet obsessed with the conspiracy theories. That's not love. That isn't true awakening. And I just wanted to share this message today. As I am writing my book, I want to try and share more messages. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you may want to share this with as many people as you can if you feel like this has value and gives some understanding to your friends who may be caught up in Q and think they're so awakened. And I know that there's been many spiritual people so caught up in it and believing they're so awakened, and this isn't the awakening. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a lighter message, but this was pretty deep for me. God bless all of you, that you find that place within your heart that love fills it, not hate and anger, and that we learn to show compassion and love for all of you, all of humanity. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day. I love you all and wish for your happiness and higher vibrations to happen quickly for you. Have a good evening.